Hello everyone, Dr. Robert here. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to invite you to take a slow breath with me. Just one, in and out. Because what we're about to talk about isn't simply nutrition or aging or science. It's about something much more personal. The quiet, powerful relationship you have with your own body as the years go by. You know, there's a moment in life, and if you're over 50, I'm sure you've felt it, when you start to notice things you used to ignore. A little stiffness in the knees when you get out of bed. The way the body takes an extra day or two to recover from something simple, like gardening or helping your grandkids move boxes. Or maybe it's the fatigue, that slow kind of tiredness that doesn't feel like exhaustion, but more like your body whispering, "Please take care of me." Have you ever felt that? I think you have. Most of my patients tell me the same thing. There's one patient I will never forget, a 67-year-old gentleman named Thomas. He used to be a firefighter, strong as an oak tree, the kind of man who would run into danger while others ran away. But one day, as he sat across my desk, he said something that stayed with me for years. "Doc, I used to listen to the world more than I listened to myself. Now the world is quieter, and my body is louder." That hit me, because it's true, isn't it? As we age, the body becomes its own storyteller. Every joint, every muscle, every breath. They begin to say things we weren't ready to hear when we were younger. And what I've learned in my decades treating older adults is this. The body doesn't complain to punish you. It speaks up because it's asking for partnership. And that's what today's conversation is really about. I want you to imagine something with me. Picture your body as a house you've lived in for a long, long time. You know every light switch, every squeaky floorboard, every window that sticks when you try to open it. You know where the draft comes in during winter and which corner catches the morning sun. This house has protected you through storms, kept you warm, carried you through countless memories. But like any home, it needs maintenance, gentle, intentional care. And one of the most powerful forms of care you can give it is the food you choose to nourish it with. Nutrition for longevity isn't about chasing trends, expensive supplements, or complicated diets with rules no one can remember. It's about returning to the basics, to whole, real foods that rebuild the systems aging tries to wear down. In today's video, I'm going to share with you one of the most underrated foods for preserving muscle, healing tissues, strengthening bones, and supporting your brain as you age. But more importantly, I want us to have a deeper conversation about what it means to age with strength. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. Because aging, my friends, is not a decline. It is a transition. A transition into a chapter where you finally have enough wisdom to understand your body and enough time to honor it. Now, I know some of you watching may feel frustrated. Maybe you've been doing your best, eating well, moving your body, taking your medications, yet the results come slower than they used to. Maybe you compare yourself to who you were at 30 or 40, and you think, why can't I just get back to that? If you've ever felt that way, please hear this. You are not going backwards. Your body isn't failing you. It just needs a different kind of support than it did before. Think of it this way. When you were young, your body could run on momentum. But now it runs on intention. I often tell my patients, you don't need to fight your age, you need to work with it. And that begins with understanding the foundation of your health, your muscles, your bones, your joints, your energy systems, and how the right nutrients can restore them in a way that may surprise you. Today's topic is something many people overlook, yet it carries an entire library of benefits in a single, humble form. And when I finally convinced Thomas, the firefighter I mentioned earlier, to add it to his routine, he came back months later with a smile I hadn't seen on his face in years. "Doc," he said, "I didn't know food could make me feel this alive again." I want you to feel that too. So as we move into this video, I invite you to stay open to new information, open to new habits, open to the possibility that your best years of strength, clarity, and vitality may still be ahead of you. Because no matter your age, 50, 60, 70, the body is always listening. And when you give it what it needs, it responds. All right, let's begin. Now let's begin breaking this down together. Not in a technical textbook way, but in the way I'd explain it if you were sitting right across from me in my office. Maybe with a warm cup of coffee in your hand, asking, "Doc, what can I eat that will truly support my body as I age?" Let's start with something fascinating, the omega-3s in sardines. I know you've heard of omega-3 before. Every magazine talks about it. But what most people don't realize is how deeply it affects aging muscle. As we get into our 50s, 60s, even 70s, inflammation becomes this quiet thief. It steals strength, steals energy, steals recovery. But omega-3 works like a gentle hand turning down the flame. And when inflammation goes down, something beautiful happens. Your body becomes more responsive to protein. That mTOR pathway, the switch that tells your body, it's time to build muscle, suddenly lights up again. I had a patient, Linda, 62 years old, who told me, "Doc, I feel like I'm doing everything right, but my muscles just don't grow anymore." When she added sardines twice a week, combined with light resistance training, her soreness dropped, and for the first time in years, she felt herself getting stronger, not weaker. And there's another layer to this, blood sugar stability. Sardines help keep your glucose steady, and if you're over 50, you know how tricky that can be. When your blood sugar takes a roller coaster ride, your muscles pay the price. But when it stays steady, your cells absorb amino acids faster. That means better recovery, less stiffness the next day, and a feeling of robustness that many of my patients thought they had lost forever. Then there's selenium, one of those minerals no one talks about, yet every cell desperately needs. Think of selenium as your internal cleanup crew. It clears out oxidative stress, the rust of aging. One man, a retired carpenter named Sean, once told me, "Doc, why do I feel sore for 3 days after something simple like mowing the lawn?" What he didn't know was that his oxidative stress markers were sky high. After a few months of incorporating foods naturally rich in selenium, including sardines, his recovery time shortened noticeably. He told me, "I feel like my body finally forgives me faster." Now I want to talk about something that every older adult worries about, the heart. Sardines are one of the rare foods where the omega-3 content is naturally high enough to make a real difference. They lower triglycerides, calm down arrhythmias, and support stable rhythm. At our age, the heart becomes less about performance and more about reliability. You don't need it to run marathons. You need it to beat steadily for decades to come. And the right nutrients help it do exactly that. Something else people rarely expect from sardines is collagen. Real, natural type 1 collagen from the skin and tiny bones. This is the same type of collagen that keeps your skin firm, your tendons strong, and your ligaments supple. Many viewers ask me, "Doc, why do my joints feel stiff in the morning?" Part of it is inflammation, but part of it is simply a lack of collagen. When you eat sardines, especially with the tiny bones, you're nourishing your connective tissues in a way protein powders simply can't mimic. And speaking of joints, many people over 50 tell me they start feeling tight, knees, hips, shoulders, especially early in the morning. When they consistently eat sardines, mobility often improves. Not in a dramatic, overnight miracle kind of way, but subtly, steadily. One morning you realize you got out of bed without that familiar creak. You know what else omega-3 does? It improves insulin sensitivity. Now that might sound like a lab term, but really, it just means this. Your body becomes better at using food to build, not store. It creates a perfect anabolic environment, the environment you need if you want to maintain or rebuild muscle past 50. Sardines are also surprisingly rich in leucine, the amino acid that acts like the spark plug of muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, your muscles simply don't respond. But sardines give you that spark, naturally, gently, efficiently. Another thing I love telling my patients, sardines are a bone-building powerhouse. They contain calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and even vitamin D, all wrapped into one humble, affordable food. Your bones aren't just calcium sticks. They're dynamic tissue that constantly rebuilds itself, and sardines give them the full toolbox to do the job. And of course, there's vitamin B12, essential for energy, nerves, mood, mental clarity. I've seen so many older adults come alive again simply by correcting a quiet B12 deficiency they didn't know they had. Sardines deliver it naturally, without needing to rely solely on supplements. And guess what? They're extremely low in mercury, one of the cleanest fish you can eat. That's rare these days. The calcium in those soft, edible bones, it helps your muscles contract and relax efficiently. Pair that with the vitamin D already inside sardines, and you get a perfect nutrient partnership, one that actually absorbs, not just passes through your system unchanged. But perhaps one of the most meaningful benefits is what omega-3 does for the brain, EPA and DHA. I've had patients tell me they feel clearer, sharper, more focused when they eat fish regularly. It's not their imagination. These nutrients literally nourish brain cells, helping protect memory and cognitive function as the years climb. Sardines also help your body recover faster because they offer something rare, both complete protein for the muscle fibers and collagen for the connective tissues around them. That's why many people feel less achy and more resilient when they make sardines part of their routine. And the amino acids glycine and lysine, your body uses them to make its own collagen, that internal glue that keeps everything held together. Finally, let me tell you something many people overlook: gut health. Sardines calm inflammation in the digestive tract and strengthen the lining of the gut. And when your gut is healthy, you absorb nutrients better, including the protein your muscles depend on. Sometimes people ask me, "Doc, is it really possible that something as simple as sardines can do all this?" And I always smile and say, the body responds to the basics when we finally give it what it needs. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. If you found today's information helpful, don't forget to hit the like button to support the channel and share this video with your loved ones, especially those who care about staying healthy as they age. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or if there are topics you'd like me to cover in future videos. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any important content that can help you stay strong, healthy, and full of energy every day. See you in the next video.